Hey, welcome to the Daddy Sharps featured bets. These are the bets that we also love, in addition to our best bets, which you can find on our podcast.
And you're only going to find these bad boys right here on the daddysharps.com website. A beautiful site built by you.
Thank you very much. But you can also check us out on social media, John, of course, at Daddy Sharps and at Daddy Sharps Podcast. And check out our YouTube channel, which was created by you. And I think it's also equally beautiful.
Yes. All right, let's jump into these bad boys. Jump right into the old feature bets. We're on to the conference championships. Huge week for us. We got futures, we got props, we got spreads, we got unders. AFC Championship is up first on Sunday. Kansas City Chiefs at Baltimore. Baltimore, the 3.5-point favorite, the total 44.5. Then you got the NFC Championship game Sunday night. Detroit Lions at San Francisco 49ers. 49ers a touchdown favorite. Over under 51.
John, before we move on,
yes,
I want to know the over-under on what you will be eating come each game. So, in other words, you got Kansas City, Baltimore up first. Are you going a little barbecue for Kansas City? Maybe you're doing some crab meats out there in Denver for Baltimore. And then you got the Lions. I have no idea what Detroit is known for. I think they got like a specific Detroit kind of bar pizza going on. But the 49ers, you got a seafood situation, Asian food, noodles. What are you doing here? Sourdough bread? What are you doing?
You know me. I got my strict diet. That's really weird. But now you got me thinking.
Get a cheap
I might have to get Detroit pizza. There's a Detroit pizza place here.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm
talking about. I might have to get a Detroit pizza. It's square. It's actually really good if you guys have never had it. It's very good.
I've heard.
Called the Blue Pan. Next time you're out here, I'm going to take you there.
Nice.
That's a commercial. Feel free to visit the Blue Pan and listen to Daddy Sharps while you're there.
The Blue Pan, brought to you by the Daddy Sharps.
Is it blue for the Lions? What the hey?
Johnny J. Start us off, my man. Featured NFL bets. Here we go. You've got the first bet.
Hey, me and you talked about this all week. We didn't make it a best bet because we're both scared, but here it is in the featured bets. I like Kansas City plus a 3.5 at Baltimore. There are certain things in life you follow. One of those is never bet against Mahomes on the spread when he's getting the points. Mahomes, including last week's win, is 8-3 straight up as an underdog and 9-1-1 against the spread as the dog. The half point is everything for me here at 3. I wouldn't even touch it. 3.5. I think I got to take it.
Oh, I'm betting it. I'm betting it all the way. And I don't think the line moves at all. I think that's what we're going to be left with. What do you, it's Mahomes. God.
It's Mahomes.
Darn it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, my man. My first featured bet. I like the Chiefs to cover the first quarter spread at plus 0.5, plus just 1/2 point there, John. The Chiefs can hold Lamar Jackson, I think, and the Ravens to a low score in the first quarter for sure, just like they did the Texans. They can also put up some points against the Ravens in the first, but they tend to fade in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. I mentioned that on our podcast. They've hit a fourth quarter total just once the entire season and the playoffs. Just once. In their last 3 games on the road, the Chiefs are 3-0 against the spread, however, in the first quarter. The Ravens are 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 first quarters at home. So, again, I like the Chiefs to cover the first quarter spread. My thought is it's just going to be a tie ball game. You win with a tie ball game in the first.
Love it. All right, in the podcast, I said one of my favorite bets was Gus Edwards and the Baltimore Ravens here. I like Gus Edwards over 10.5 carries. Well, here in the featured bets, I think he's going to get some yards out of it. Edwards over 40.5 rushing yards. The book thinks Edwards is going to carry somewhere around 10. I think it's going to be over. When Edwards has at least 10 carries in a game, he is over 40 yards this year, 11 out of 13 games. I do not like this number at 41. 40.5 is the number to buy. And then I have another little best bet here, sir. Another little best bet that I snuck in here, and it pays plus money, big plus money, plus 140. Are you ready? Are you ready for the name I'm gonna drop?
I'm listening, and I'm on the other side of this, by the way. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I like Odell Beckham under 1.5 receptions. Yes, this is paying plus money, and I think the number's inflated because of who the guy is. OBJ still living off that Monday Night Football catch. First of all, Kansas City ranked 4th in lowest yards allowed to opposing wide receivers and 6th lowest in receptions allowed to wide receivers. Second, OBJ has had 1 catch in each of his last 2 games, 3 of the last 4. In the last 4 games, Beckham has been targeted a total of 8 times. That's 2 targets a game. I think he's going to go under 1.5 receptions. And I can't wait to hear the other side, sir.
All right, interesting. And with Andrews coming back, that kind of throws a wrench maybe in what I'm saying here, but I agree with you. However, Zay Flowers, I took the over last week. It's like 40 some yards. He got the under. And so who are they throwing to? And I think that is the one Achilles heel that they're going to have as a Ravens team against this Kansas City Chiefs team. The Chiefs secondary, not bad, pretty good. You got to throw to someone. So that's why I'm saying that I think OBJ is one of those players. It's a championship game. The guy wants to go to a Super Bowl. I think he just finds whatever he's got in him to get open to catch at least 2. That's what we're talking about here.
He's only done that once in the last 4 games, sir. Only one time.
I know. I understand.
He's gonna have to catch both his targets if he does it.
Well, that means we should take the Lamar Jackson over rushing. That's true. I think that's what that says.
I was afraid to take it. I thought it was too easy.
I'm taking it now. All right. How about this one?
I like it.
Brock Purdy over 29.5 passing attempts. He averaged close to 28 attempts per game during the regular season. He hit the over in close games and games they've lost, however. He's had 39 attempts last week against the Packers. The Lions are much better against the run compared to their secondary. The Niners are going to want to throw the ball and throw it often. And again, when it's a close game or it's a good team that they're battling because offenses are keeping up with offenses, Brock Purdy throws the over. I like the over 29.5 here passing attempts.
Nice. All right. I got full disclosure on this next bet. You got Detroit at San Francisco. The total here is 51. I like the under 51. Full disclosure. I think me and you both did it. We bought it Sunday night at under 51.5, but I would still play the under 51. 51 is the key number. That's why we like that half point, but I still think it's worth a look here. Our data has this under at a 58% hit rate. The key will be San Francisco making this a one-sided affair, not allowing, I know this is asking a lot here, but we got a good defense. We are not allowing the Lions to score more than 17. That's the way I think this gets done. I do think the 49ers will get their points against this lowest rated defense left in the playoffs.
I think there's a good argument to be made that the Lions and Goff are gonna, the ride's over, my man. Congratulations, good showing. The ride's over. Implosion, and we just talked about it before we recorded this podcast or the featured bets here, and that's that McCaffrey. If they block well and the guy gets on a roll, he wants this game too. That kind of speaks to what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Control the clock.
However, if you have that ticket in your sweaty hand that day and you see a pick 6 from the San Francisco defense, you can just throw it away. Just forget about it. It's done. Pick 6 kills the under.
Pick 6. And you actually love a Goff pick 6.
I do. Trying to get Gibbs on the screen out there. Pick 6.
I love that too. All right. My next bet, Mahomes. I like him on the over 4.5 rushing attempts.
I was looking at this. I like this too. It's a good one.
Yep, the attempts. Mahomes is making things happen for the Chiefs. He's got to keep doing it, but he's been doing it against teams that were beat up and injured on defense. Let's just say that, right? Miami, yes. Buffalo, and against a healthy Ravens defense, he's gonna have to do something else besides throw to key players here and there. His receivers have problems running catching the ball. I really like Watson, actually. in this game. I like the overs on Watson a lot. I think that it's one receiver that could work for him, but in the interim, he's gonna have to run. He's gonna have to run in this game. And last week he ran 6 times against the Bills. Maybe he didn't have to, maybe he did, but he did it. He'll have to run against the Ravens for sure to keep this game on his side.
Yes. All right, me and you talked about it in the podcast. I love Ayuk over yardage, and with the yards, he's going to have to make some catches. So I also like Ayuk over 5.5 receptions. Ayuk has been targeted on average 6 times over the last 5 games. Detroit gives up the 7th most catches to the wide receiver position on the year. So I kind of think you see where I'm going with that one.
Yeah, and I think it's a contract year for Ayuk as well.
Yes, yes.
So this is the one,
Jameson.
Yeah, this is the one that I talked with you about right before we recorded. Jameson Williams. I like the under 30.5 receiving yards. And then here's why. The Lions are down a starting left guard and a blocking tight end. Jared Goff's stats nosedive more than 65 QBR points when he is pressured. So it only works if the 49ers can pressure him. Not blitz, but pressure. He'll have around 2 seconds, 2.3 seconds to throw to Josh Reynolds, an injured Laporta, Goff's favorite target, by the way, or St. Brown in the slot, who's projected to get some 88 yards. So Goff won't have time in his progression to find Williams at all. And the Lions aren't looking to Williams as the key to their victory either. I like Williams under 30.5 receiving yards.
All right, here we are. One of my favorite bets this time of year. I like futures here. I like futures last week and I like futures this week. And to be honest, you know me, I'm an incredibly conservative gambler, and I may have overextended myself here on Baltimore, but this is the year. I love this team right now. And right now, you can get them to win the Super Bowl at plus 200 at some books, plus 190 you had seen earlier in the day. You can still find it plus 200 some spots. I love Baltimore for several reasons. First, I'm a huge believer in DVOA. Earlier in the year, we had Aaron Schatz, friend of the podcast and DVOA creator, said Baltimore had a top 5 DVOA of all time. The other 4 teams above them on that list, they all won the Super Bowl. Baltimore's DVOA was in line with the 1985 Chicago Bears. That's how dominant this team is right now, and you can get them right now at 2-1. All they got to do is win 2 games. Of course, you got to beat Mahomes in the process. This is a historically good team. And then this week, Schatz says the Ravens have the best weighted DVOA from 1981 to 2023. Weighted DVOA is a metric used to see how well a team is performing lately, instead of going through the whole season's worth of work. The Ravens are at the top of that list. The 3 below them, the 85 Bears, the 96 Packers, and the 91 Redskins. You know what they all had in common? They all won the Super Bowl. If you bet the future now, you get the Ravens, one of the best teams in the last 50 years, at a 2-1 price to win the Super Bowl with only 2 games to win. A 2-game parlay at a historically awesome team. Great team.
Huh. Interesting.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think we just keep talking about these games this weekend are going to be fantastic for so many reasons. And if Baltimore does everything they can do, I think you're right. There is an argument to be made, even though we both like the plus 3.5 for the Chiefs, that Baltimore could just, like, Mahomes could have a bad game here.
Yes.
He like Mahomes cannot make a mistake.
Correct.
What if he does?
Yes. Like the Hardman fumble on the goal line last week.
Yeah.
For the Kansas City. You can't do that against Baltimore.
Yeah. Mahomes cannot throw an errant pass. And I mean, he hasn't yet, but he can't do it now. All right.
Yes.
All right, John, here comes the teaser of the weekend. It should be a best bet, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an easy one. It's not a Wong teaser. The book, they all know the books. They all know it's coming, and I think this could be the best bet. It's definitely a featured bet, but Again, I just don't know how the Chiefs or the Lions are going to fare in these. It's a 6-point teaser. So here's what I'm doing: move the Chiefs up to 9.5. Move the 49ers down to a point. Mahomes is 9-1-1 ATS as an underdog in the playoffs. We all know that. You're going to hear that a lot on the radio this week. All my data tells me to fade Mahomes, though, and the Chiefs to a certain point. And I'm just not going to pull the trigger. No, I'm just not going to do it. The Chiefs find a way to win in the playoffs. They just do. But so far, they've done it against teams dealing with crushing injuries. The Dolphins had to sign and start linebackers in the wild card. We saw a depleted Bills defense and the struggle against Mahomes at times. They had some, issues on who was covering who in certain situations. But when it comes to offense and defensive DVOA, the Ravens lead the league in pass defense, rush offense, I should say. They also rush the ball more times than any other team. The Chiefs are 27th in rush defense and 8th in pass offense. Advantage Ravens across the board if they play like the Ravens can. The 49ers may be missing Deebo Samuel. We all know that. It's 50-50. It's a huge blow. They are 1-4 straight up when Deebo gets 2 or less targets in a game. But the Niners have so many more weapons in my book. And while Purdy started out slow last week against the Packers, I think a lot of that has to do with, they came out a bye week. He wasn't in a rhythm. He's a good quarterback, however, not a great quarterback. So, we can't expect him to play like Steve Young and Joe Montana. And I hope he's not putting that pressure on himself either. I hope he's not feeling that pressure because he doesn't need to do the things that they did. Meanwhile, the Lions have been getting torched on defense in the past game. In their last 3 regular season games, and you alluded to this as far as like receivers catching.
Yes.
The ball against this defense, I'm going to go to quarterbacks throwing against them.
Yes.
Nick Mullins, last 3 regular season games. Nick Mullins, 411 yards. Dak Prescott, 345 against them. Nick Mullins again, 396. And then in the playoffs, Matthew Stafford, 367. Baker Mayfield, 349. And the 49ers rank first in the NFL by a lot in offensive passing DVOA. Therefore, it's an easy one. It's not a Wong teaser, but Chiefs plus 9.5, 49ers -1. Give me 3 to 4 to 7 units on this one.
Yes.
I'm telling you, this one has got to win, John.
Full disclosure for the Daddy Sharps here. That, for both of us, that's our biggest bet of the weekend. We both got multiple units on that bet. It's a big one.
Yep, got it. It's a huge one. Huge one. I was looking for the mute button. Yep, sorry.
So this bet looked a lot better yesterday, and now I'm still gonna lay it out here just so you can see the process behind the thinking. But at this point, it's probably not worth betting. But Lamar to win the Super Bowl MVP. I like to take the Super Bowl bet a step further. I like to bet the Super Bowl MVP is the quarterback of the winning team. Since the Super Bowl started, a quarterback has won it 56% of the time. Over the last 10 Super Bowls, it's been 60% of the time. Lamar, I love because he is the offense. If they're going to win, it's going to have to go through Lamar. They really are not known for other people on the offense. I don't want to be rude to anybody else out there, but when defenses plan for the Ravens, they're not planning for Zay Flowers. They're planning for Lamar Jackson. Full disclosure, I love this bet, and this is why I'm backing off now. I love this bet a lot more on Monday. I got it at plus 330, and now that it's plus 220, and you can get the Super Bowl winning Baltimore Ravens at plus 200, it's not worth the extra risk to get that extra $20 in every 100. So you just want to stick with Baltimore to win the Super Bowl now. But
let me ask you this though. So if you don't get it this week, and let's assume that the Ravens are in the Super Bowl. What does that bet look like next week? What do you think that drops to then?
Oh, some of these, like last year, I believe Matt, was it last year? What year did Stafford win? Was that 2 years ago?
With the Rams?
Yeah,
oh,
2 years ago.
2 or 3
I
years ago?
specifically remember he was the week of the Super Bowl, he dropped to -110 to win the MVP.
Wow.
So The best time to buy Super Bowl MVPs, if you're going with the quarterbacks, is actually in the divisional round. And you really got to look at the matchups and things, because it's basically, the way I look at it, it's basically a way to get the it's a way to get the Super Bowl winner at a money line price at a plus huge amount.
Look at you playing with house money.
That being said, I just went through and said, hey, quarterbacks won 56% of the time over the last 10 Super Bowls, 60% of the time, blah, blah, blah. There's another Super Bowl MVP bet that I really like, and it's still good this week. This is one you can actually buy, and I think I'm going to make a case here, and I think you're going to agree with it. I like Christian McCaffrey to win the Super Bowl MVP at plus 600. Granted, a running back hasn't won this baby since 1998 when Terrell Davis did it with the Broncos, but Christian McCaffrey is not your ordinary running back. And by the way, Christian McCaffrey's dad, Easy Ed McCaffrey, was on that team that Terrell Davis won. Is this an omen? Is this an omen, sir? Right? But seriously, the offense goes through McCaffrey. Over 2,000 yards from scrimmage, 21 touchdowns on the year. If any running back was going to win this thing in the last 10 years, this is the one. He has the best shot, and this is right in your neck of the woods. This guy has the best shot outside of Marshawn Lynch, in my opinion, to win the Super Bowl MVP. And I do think in that Patriots Super Bowl, Marshawn Lynch would have won it if they ran the ball there. So I think Christian McCaffrey, as much as he is for this offense, I think he is a better buy than Brock Purdy at plus 600. You're basically getting the San Francisco 49ers money line in the Super Bowl at plus 600.
I agree with you. I just don't understand why you have to bring up that play again.
Hey, we had Russ too.
We all get it. We all get it, John. We all get it. No, I think you're absolutely right. I think CMC is the way to go to get your bets in now and this week, and I'm certainly gonna get some bets going on futures as far as MVP Super Bowl MVPs as well. But let's talk futures about winners.
One more thing on McCaffrey here.
Okay,
I'm gonna add one more thing with McCaffrey here.
Well, what about him?
This is moving fast.
Tell us.
Was plus 800 yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, if Christian, so I got it at plus 800, full disclosure. If San Francisco wins, which we both think they will,
and if he goes off in this conference championship game,
this is going to be below, even if they win and he doesn't have a good game, this is going to be below 300. This might be by game time, minus or plus 200. I've just seen these numbers move so much when you get into that Super Bowl week. This is seriously the best Super Bowl bet you can buy right now. Christian McCaffrey to win Super Bowl MVP. 6-1.
Interesting. Crazy. What are the over-unders and the prop bets on Taylor Swift?
Oh, Tay on camera.
How many times on camera? That's probably going to move one of the bets.
Yes.
I'll bet that. All right. Let's talk futures in a different way. Obviously, who's going to lines right now to win the Super Bowl? Because if you're going to bet on these, John, I think you would agree. You need to bet on them now. I mean, you cannot wait at this point, obviously. 49ers are the favorites at plus 145. Then you got the Ravens plus 190, Chiefs plus 360, Lions plus 750. Where's the best value in that group right now, in your opinion, as far as Super Bowl winners, future bets?
So using the trick I was just telling everybody, so you can take the Chiefs at plus 360, but you could take Mahomes. I looked up his Super Bowl MVP odds. He's only plus 400, so it's not worth the extra risk. So in that case, you would want to take the Chiefs plus 360. I think that is the best odds on the board right now. That actually has a shot. I think if Mahomes gets past Baltimore, I don't see this guy going to the Super Bowl and losing. He did that once before, and we all saw the show quarterback. It sits with him still. He hates it. He will not make it there again and lose.
Agreed. I think we both talked about it on the podcast too. 49ers, as far as we're not talking about the teams here and their will they win or not, but just the value in the bet. More value other than the 49ers on the Ravens plus 190 and the Chiefs plus 360. You might want to put a little money on both. one will pay for the other? Does it take away from your overall winnings if one of them will go to the Super Bowl if they win? Yeah, but I think those are the best value bets, bang for your buck.
And then none of us mentioned the Lions here.
No, we didn't.
The Lions are plus 750, but these daddy sharps, me and Luke have watched a ton of playoff games. You got to have a defense that's playing, and this is the worst defense.
Yeah.
This was probably the worst defense in the field when the field was full with 14 teams. Like,
the only way they're going to win this conference championship game is if they keep pace, and they could. Goff and the offense could keep pace, and then it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be closer than the 7-point spread that it is. But if the Lions somehow win this NFC championship game and they are in the Super Bowl, come on, man. I mean, that defense is all of a sudden going to show up when they haven't all season long? No.
Yeah.
Defense wins championships and they don't have one.
And to be honest with you, they would be such an underdog with the spread. You could probably still get them if they made the Super Bowl at plus 300. They'd be such an underdog.
From a betting perspective, we do not want the Lions in the Super Bowl. All right.
Yes.
So what are some of the bets that you passed on here?
So the one I passed on that I mentioned using my strategy that I laid out earlier, the Kansas City, Mahomes should win that MVP if they actually made it. It's plus 400, but you can get Kansas City right now to win the whole thing at plus 360. So for me, it's got to have an extra 100 in it for me to make it worth my while there. And if it's just not enough value for everybody else I could get on the team. And in the last 10 years, we've seen a lot of defensive players win it. You know who? This is not a bet I passed on, but it's just something I just thought of. You know who might be? Well, I don't know if they make it this far, but Nick Bolton, Kansas City Chiefs. Nick Bolton for the Kansas City. Kansas City Chiefs.
What?
Yeah, it's Kansas City Chiefs linebacker. That defense runs through him. He's probably 20-1 right now. If they somehow win this game, I'm just saying.
You're crazy.
You're
absolutely insane.
It's 20-1 though, and you will never get that next week.
Anything else there?
And like we just talked about, the Detroit Lions, that's what you got to pass on. I
agree.
Can't get crazy here.
One thing I'm passing on right now is San Francisco -7, just for now. It comes down to Debo. Is Debo Samuel going to play? I want to wait and see the injury update on Wednesday, according to Dr. Chow. Not a bone break. Everyone thought he broke his scapula, but I guess, after listening to the, what we saw and what we didn't see, it could be just muscle tissue issues. And, that means, I know you don't think he's going to play because it looked like really painful, that injury, but you and I are both college athletes, and if you're in a game like this and you've got muscle issues, you're gonna play. I think you're gonna play. Are you gonna be good? No. Can you contribute? No. Maybe you can run the ball, but you're not gonna catch the ball. So, anyways, if Debo is in and can be a factor, I like San Francisco -7, but if he's not, there's no way I'm coming close to that. And unfortunately, that's where we have to end things for this featured bets.
Right. Hey, we could see Detroit money flood Sunday. Maybe drive the number down. Maybe to 6.5.
Oh God, can you imagine all the squares falling in love with the storyline of the Lions? I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love it, and then I would buy them up.
All right. So that does it for the Daddy Sharps featured bets this week. And remember, always gamble responsibly within your means. And the bets we share are based on our own research. We don't always win, but in the playoffs, we usually do.
Yeah, we really do. And be sure and check us out on social media. Look for the Daddy Sharps on Instagram and Twitter, and be sure to check us out on our website, daddysharps.com. And we will
let it out. Get it out of there.
We're going to be back with much, much more as we head to the Super Bowl. Yes, John?
Who is your daddy?
Oh, gosh. I know this one. We are.
Stay sharp, everyone.